Hi guys, welcome. If you're new here, my name's Nikki. I'm a beekeeper and I make beekeeping videos. If that's something you like watching, then hit the subscribe button. If you're one of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back and listening to what I have to say. I really, really appreciate it. Today I'm going to do my week 18 inspection on my newest hive of honeybees. If you haven't seen the other videos in this series, I'll link them down below and you can check them out if you would like. Before I do just a kind of quick recap of last week, I do know there are some of you who are following this series week by week, and I so appreciate that. But I get a couple questions here and there, and I just want to let you guys know that this, if you are comparing my hive to yours, or you're following the series throughout the year, these inspections are about 2 weeks behind. So what I upload is usually filmed about 2 weeks ago. And the reason for the delay in that is that I am not great at editing, still learning, and because I'm a mom. So if you see something and they look a little behind or maybe not kind of where yours are at the time, just keep that in mind when you're watching these videos. Now, to recap our last inspection, still eggs, still brood. We saw the queen last inspection. I did take care of that broken frame and place an empty one in its place. Now that is not my long-term solution. This hive has way too much empty space in there. They're not going to draw anything else out because it's toward the end of the year. So the foundation in the frame that was broken has so much valuable resources in it. There was pollen in there, there were nectar, a little bit of brood. So I didn't want to just scrap that entire foundation. I did reframe that foundation and I stuck it in another hive. The other hive I stuck it in is kind of honey bound at this point, and they really, really are strong producers. So I just stuck it in there. I will let them continue working on that frame. I'll let them store honey in it and cap it. And when that's done, I'll put it back in the hive. So I just kind of wanted to let you know what my plan is going forward as far as that empty frame is. Well, I'll get my stuff on and head out to the bees and we'll get started. Okay, we are back to just our 2 brood chambers now. Last week I did give the super to their neighbors here who just are crazy at drawing things out. So we'll check in on them and see how they're doing. We have another crazy day with the yellow jackets. So this time of year they are so bad and they irritate me, but more importantly they irritate my bees, which I don't like. Too many up here in the lid. It's a lot of stink bugs around the hives this year too. They don't really get in the hives, but they kind of, like right here's one, they kind of come up to the hives and sit by the outer cover, I think mostly for warmth. All right, girls. So they do have one brand new frame that I put in last week, because if you watch the previous video, they did have a frame that broke. So their outer frame here is brand new. So we'll check it, see if they've got anything drawn out. It's going to be tough to see because it's one of the last frames that I had that was not in use, and the foundation on it is white, which is not my favorite. So I tend to kind of use those as a last resort. I really don't care for that foundation at all. It's just so light. It's very difficult to see eggs in it. Okay. Here I've got some capped syrup here on the outer frame and a little bit of capped brood on it. And then on this side we have a full frame of syrup and nectar that they've started capping over, and they continue to draw these frames out week to week. So if you see there, that is this side, all syrup and nectar. And this is syrup and nectar there with a little bit of capped brood, and you can see that they've drawn that frame out a little bit more. We have lots of goldenrod right now. Actually, right over here to the left of this hive, we have a ton of it. I always put my smoker in the way. I'm not really sure why I do that, but... Okay, we've got a frame with some capped brood, lots of syrup, and some of it's capped. Take a look over here. Lots and lots of syrup and nectar. This whole side of the frame. And most of it is capped. So there you see a frame of syrup and nectar. And that's the bulk of this frame, but we do have some capped brood on there. There is some larvae in here. And a little bit of eggs. I didn't see them in the light over there, but yes, lots of eggs and larvae in the rest of this frame. They're doing a beautiful job of drawing the frames outward. And I've definitely seen that improvement in the last couple weeks. I absolutely hate to give them a new frame this late, but one broke, so there's not much you can do. So lots of eggs here. A little bit of capped brood still, but lots and lots of eggs here on this frame. Some capped syrup up at the corners. And this side we've got lots of larvae and eggs as well. And some capped syrup around the edges. Nice brood frame. So you've got eggs and larvae on both sides of this frame. Right there. Just going to take a quick look. Ooh. I switched out their brood box when I replaced that frame. So the frames aren't fitting exactly how they had before. So it's a brand new box. They kind of break them in after a while. Lots of bees on these next couple frames. Not too heavy. I've got a frame with a little bit of capped brood in the center, and we've got lots of larvae and eggs. This queen is still going strong. And my queen is on this side of the frame. She's still got a little bit of her gut left. I'm surprised. We've gone through almost the whole season. Eggs and larvae here, a little bit of syrup, and my queen is right there in the center. Kind of, hopefully you can see her. And on this side we've got some capped brood and some eggs and larvae there too. Man, this queen is massive. She's such a big queen. If you've watched this series the whole time, she's such a good queen. So I really hope to get these girls through winter and then split them with one of her daughters this spring. Because she just does such a good job. Get away. And these yellow jackets are driving me crazy. So here I've got little bit of capped brood and larva, and it looks like they're backfilling some with syrup. There's a little bit of pollen in here and a pretty decent amount of capped syrup and nectar. And this side looks the same. We've got some capped brood in the center and all around some syrup and nectar. It looks pretty good. So there's that side. And here you can see there is some larvae, some eggs in there, but it looks like they're backfilling with syrup as these emerge. Most are sticking. I'm genuinely surprised they're as calm as they are right now, because we do have some yellow jackets. I know it's difficult for you to see on camera, but there are some that are coming up to the hive. I kind of try to shoo them away. Yellow jackets are really good at picking out the weak hives too. I'll come up and check on all my hives, and I see them mess with this hive a lot, and rarely with that hive. That hive is super strong, and they are very good at defending their hive. So they don't mess with them too much. So here I've got a frame of syrup and nectar. Some of it is capped. And this side is the same. I got a little bit of a bridge they're drawing there. So there is that side with our little bridge, and this side syrup and nectar. So they've been very busy. And I have a yellow jacket that I'm going to shoo her off of here. Here we go. And our next frame was one of our empty frames. I did kind of push them ends to the center a little bit more. Ooh, they really had that propolized. And this was our outermost frame that was completely empty. Still pretty much the same. Not much on there, just a couple spots where they started to draw them out. We got a couple girls. They're starting to get a little fired up now. Oh, this is a heavy frame. Lots of syrup and nectar. Lots of it capped over. Same thing here. This is beautiful. And still drawing these frames out. You can really look at how much they've drawn these frames out all the way to the edges, or at least some of them they're really trying to. So pretty. Okay. Now, a very outermost frame, we're not there yet. We got one more before it, but again, I don't really expect anything to be drawn out on it. I just put it in last week. We've got a frame of syrup and nectar. I really wish they'd draw this one out a little bit more. And just some on the back side they've started to draw. So you can see that there. And syrup and nectar there. It's not drawn out very far, so it's not a very thick frame. And let's take a look at our last one, even though I don't expect anything to be done on it. And again, I'll push this into the center in a couple weeks, but right now they've got some of the ones in the center that need to be drawn out a little bit more. So they've got little tiny bits. I'll bring it up, you can see this is the white foundation. So hopefully on camera you can see sort of little patches of yellow that are on there where they've started to draw a little bit. But it's not very much. Okay, I'm gonna put these girls back and put these frames back in, and we'll take a look down in the bottom box. Okay, we are gonna switch sides today and come from this side. There we go. Okay, so here we've got our outermost frame. It is mostly empty, but it looks like they're storing a little bit of syrup in there. And the back side is all the way empty. So there you can see that, mostly empty. And our back side is empty here. Let me see if I can get a different camera angle here. Okay, see if I can switch camera angles a little bit. Still not done a ton with these outermost frames. I may push them inside today. Again, we've got some syrup being stored in here, but they really haven't drawn this side out. And our back side is pretty much empty. You can see there, a little bit of syrup being stored in there, and not much on the back side. As we get through, I'll decide whether or not I want to adjust these. We haven't seen these frames on every inspection recently because I've cut the inspection short. Part of the reason why I wanted to switch sides today and start from this side, because if that happens again, at least I get a look at this side of the box. And here I've got beautiful, beautiful pollen. Lots and lots of it. And we've got a tiny amount of syrup they're storing in here. Lots of pollen on this frame. Yeah, I'm really happy that I decided to switch sides and look at these first, because look how beautiful that is. And both sides are just full of pollen. And if you are already a beekeeper and you're watching this, let me know what you guys think of the smell of goldenrod. So it is like very distinct, and you know when they're storing it. I think I'm sort of indifferent to it, but I know a lot of people that just hate it. Get off the glove there. Oh, okay. There's my cats fighting. So kiwi typically comes out here. Oh, I tried to get this bee off and I got more on there. Kiwi typically comes out here with me, but The other cat does not, and I think he wants some attention today, and they cannot stand each other. So I kind of knew that was going to be a fight. So I've got a tiny amount of capped brood, some pollen. I don't see any eggs in here. A little bit of syrup. And this side, lots of pollen and some capped brood and some syrup. And you can go, you can see that side. Look how much pollen are in here. Very happy that I switched sides. And that is that side of our frame. Good job, girls. I'm going to take a really quick hiatus and relight my smoker real quick, and I'll be right back. Oh, okay, there we go. Almost done, girls. And I've got a frame of capped brood. And a little bit of pollen and syrup. Big old piece of propolis there. And lots of pollen here, some capped brood. And there we go. So there's that side. Capped brood there. Let's see. There we go. And they're getting a little fired up, so starting from this side might have been a good choice. And we've got capped brood here. It looks like some backfilling with syrup and nectar. Lots of capped brood on this side, some pollen and a little bit of syrup and nectar. For this late in the year, this is a lot of brood. So you can see capped brood here. And we got capped brood on this side as well. I'll probably go through one more frame, one or two, and then give them a break. Because we've pretty much seen everything we need to see. There's lots of brood, the eggs, there's the queen, we saw her, no queen cells. And just try not to stress them out so much. Another really solid frame of pollen here. And we've got capped brood on this side, lots of pollen in here, syrup around the edges. So you can see there, some brood, some pollen, and there's a ton of pollen on this side as well. And we'll do one more frame. We'll do one more frame and then we'll let them have a break, because this frame looks like it has a lot of pollen as well. This next frame is one they had been kind of drawing out in a funny way, so I do want to check on it, and then we'll just give them a break. This is our frame of drone brood. There. I know, you're so mad. You're getting loud at me here. And we've got capped brood on this side. So, it was pretty good. There you can see they've drawn the frame out a little bit more. Still kind of crazy here on this side, but not terrible. All right, we got all right, one more. I won't take out their last one. Okay, we've got still a lot of pollen here. A lot of pollen, syrup, a little bit of capped brood. And we've got a frame of syrup. We've got what looks to be the start of a queen cell. Here in the center. I'll kind of just tear that down. And you can see there, lots of pollen there too. All right, I'll get them a break. They're very angry. And we'll put these guys together and talk about this inspection. Okay guys, that was our week 18 inspection on this hive. They still look really, really good. There's still brood in there. Queen's still laying. We did see the queen on this inspection. The population's decreased a little bit from where it was a month or two ago, but that's somewhat normal for this time of year. I will continue to watch them and make sure that they're still producing brood. If it does drop significantly, or I don't think they're going to be as strong as I want them to going into winter, I will look at possibly combining them. But we will cross that bridge when we get there. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. If you found this video helpful, give it a like. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.